But Rob, 10 grand's a lot of money. Well, not when gas is freaking $5 a gallon. Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. My name is Rob. In this series of videos, I'm gonna show you how you can build a respectable street truck for less than 10 grand. Stick around. So if you are a keen observer, this is not the first time you've seen this truck. We did an initial video when I bought the truck, I don't know, a couple months back, and I kind of went over it and just told you how cool I thought it was. I'm still in love with this thing and I can't wait to build it. But what I want to do is I want to make a street truck that runs and drives, stops and goes and all that stuff, and has adjustable suspension for less than $10,000. And I know it's doable. And 10 grand is a pretty good chunk of change, and this truck needs one of everything. One of the main players on this truck is sheet metal. I mean, it needs metal. And I have the metal, I bought it. And that's gonna go into the overall cost of everything. And I'm gonna keep a running tally of what I spend. The main intent of this video is to show you how you can do this and have a pretty cool, badass truck running and driving, doing all this stuff for decent money. Now, 10 grand is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for me, it's probably a lot of money for a lot of guys. But 10 grand kind of spread out over some time and with some bartering and selling and really making wise decisions, is totally attainable for the regular guy. We're gonna pick this thing apart. I'm gonna keep a itemized price log of everything I spend. And when I barter, you know, and I sell something, I'm gonna add that in or what have you. Yeah, let's talk about what I wanna do with this truck, the plans. We'll go from the front to back. Okay, drivetrain for this truck is gonna be a small block Ford, just a 302, but that's going to be the cheapest way I can get this thing running, and I do need a transmission. The easiest, cheapest way for me to do a transmission in this truck to get it going is going to be a C4 probably. So 302 and C4. Now suspension, I've got some suspension goodies. The front on these trucks is an I-beam, straight up old school I-beam. Let's take a walk to the barn. I'll show you what I got for it. Underneath the blue tarp of goodness lies in wait a piece of Ford marvel of engineering. There it is. You guys know what that is, right? Of course you do. Crown Vic, baby. So we're gonna go Crown Vic on the front. No sweat, easy money. Where else can you get disc brakes, independent front suspension, and all the goodies like this, power steering and all that stuff, rack and pinion power steering? $400 I got in that. I haven't really had much of a chance to clean this thing out yet. So before we go inside and we tally up the numbers on where we're at on the truck now, I'm gonna pull this seat out, and I got some headlight parts and some other things scattered around here, and I'm gonna run the vacuum through it and take a look at absolutely everything that I have with this truck and kind of be a little more particular on the sheet metal. I have most of the sheet metal, we'll talk about that as well, but maybe there's some pieces that I need that I don't have. So let's get the seat out of here and clean this up. All right, so now we knew the floor was blown out up here. We knew the steps and the sill plates were junk. I knew this. I have new floor boards up here, like the front, like from this area forward, new. And then I've got new steps and step plates and cab corners. This one's actually not that bad, but they're trashed on the other side. Now what I was concerned about was this back here, because I don't have new ones of those. Now this is rusty, but I think I'm gonna jam a screwdriver at it and see what it'll do. I think that's salvageable. So really the rust is about what I thought. The cap mounts look pretty rough, but they might be useful. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's like, just like pounds of dirt in there. They might be usable. They do sell cap mounts for this truck, so I might have to budget those. But again, we're trying to keep the numbers down. So if I can build or reuse these, I will do that. So as far as rust goes, this is what we're looking at. It's about what I expected, and it don't scare me. Okay, back here, the bed floor is trash, for sure. And there is some rust. This bedside is solid. course, the tailgate is junk, but I might fix it. I don't know. It depends on what the numbers are. When we get to that point, we'll see where we're at. And this is the only piece of rust on the bed over here. The body style of this truck's gonna make it so easy to fix stuff like that. That is flat, maybe a little bit of crown in it, but not bad. Enzo, come here. Look at this dope. What are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, that's where we're at on the exterior. Oh, here's that cab corner I was telling you about. Junk. Let's go inside, get on the whiteboard, and kind of break down where we're at on numbers right now with this and where I hope to end up with it. Okay, half my board is for the Falcon, so just ignore that half. But over here, and we'll go F100. Balling on a budget, baby. 10 grand is my number. I want to spend no more than 10 grand on this truck. And we're going to barter, we're going to sell some things, we might even trade some labor on some things. But 10 is my number. I want a running, driving, adjustable suspension truck that I can lay on the ground for 10 grand. And I want it to be comfortable. I want it to be presentable. I don't want it to be junk. I want it to be nice. Attention to detail and taking our time with it is what's going to get that. You can build garbage for 5 grand. Like you can totally do it. I don't want garbage. I try not to crank out garbage. The Mustang's a nice car. The Falcon's a nice car. I want this F100 to be a nice truck. I want someone to look at it and be like, damn, that's a really nice truck. I don't want someone to look at it and be like, that's cobbled together horse shit. That's not the, I might as well just stay in bed. That's not what I do. Okay, F100. We bought that truck, and by we, I mean me and my bank account, $1,500 bucks. 1,500. Next thing I bought was the Crown Vic front suspension, and that was $400. And then I have sheet metal, which I spent $1,000 on. It was actually a little bit less than that, but we're just going to round up for the sake of, I don't know what exactly the number is anymore. Okay, so I'm looking at what's the American math on that? That's 2,900 bucks so far. So we're 2,900 into it. But I have some things that is going to go in the truck. I have some things that are going to go in the truck that that do have value, because it wouldn't be fair for me to be like, oh, I've got this engine, you know, and then someone out in internet land is like, oh, he built a truck for 10 grand, but it didn't include the engine. So I have an engine that came from Uncle Mike's Fastback. Now, part of the deal I made with Mike is he's paying me to rebuild the car, and I took some of the scratch off the top with the engine because it's a running engine. It has some blow by, it needs rings, but for this truck, it's plenty good. It's reliable, it's got a lot of life left in it. So we're gonna run that engine. And I would say that you could probably get an engine, a running engine, a small block Ford 302 for $1,000. So I'm gonna put a value on that motor of $1,000. I know you can do it less, but this motor has aluminum top end and some goodies on it and stuff that I think probably, if I'm being fair, put that value around there. So for the engine package on this car, Ford 302 small block, I'm gonna put up here 1 grand. So now we're up to $3,900. That's all the cheese I have in this truck right now. So with the remaining money, what's that, 5 grand, 6 grand? Yeah, like 6, right? Yeah, like almost 6, a little over 6. I've got to put suspension under it, a transmission, a drive shaft, and all the materials I'm gonna need. I could totally do it. I'm thinking about it right now in my head. I could probably get a transmission. Even if I get a brand new transmission, I mean, C4s are cheap, $1,000 probably, but I can get one probably that has some life left in it for $400 or $500. Again, this isn't a round town truck. This is a Sunday truck. I'm not making a daily driver out of this truck. I'm not painting it. If I hadn't mentioned it, this is patina build on this truck. I definitely can do it. We'll have enough money left over for interior. We got to do that interior. I'm going to paint the interior of the truck. I want it to look absolutely perfect. I might, no fancy gauges or nothing. I'm going to restore the factory gauges that's in it, paint everything. I'm going to do a nice dark blue on the interior and then take the seat to get recovered. I'll carpet it and do things like that. I just want the inside to be nice and have like a functioning heater and stuff like that. So for 10 grand, running and driving, F100, balling on a budget. If you haven't watched the Mustang videos, there's a Mustang 70 Fastback. That car's badass. If you haven't watched those videos, go back. I got a bunch of videos. We're doing a series on that car and what I'm doing for it for Uncle Mike. That's my uncle's car. But here's the engine. Let's take a look at this. So this here, now it was in this car when the car came to me, and it doesn't make a ton of power, but it sounds really good, and it does burn a little bit of oil, but I'll tell you what, I live in the country, and most people that ride shit around here burns oil, so I'll fit right in. But anyways, here we go. Edelbrock E Street heads on this bad boy, Performer RPM intake, and the rest is some kind of like mystery 302. It's got a cam in it. I don't know much about it. It sounds good, but yeah, there's our engine. That's my $1,000 engine. So, okay, now I want to be realistic with you guys on time frame for this truck. I've got a lot going on. This poor car, I don't even know. I mean, I took this thing all the way down to the nuts, and it's taken forever to get it back going because I want to do it right and I want to be meticulous about it. Now that truck, I want to get it together to have something to drive. And I feel if I have that truck to scratch that itch, I will do this car justice. I'm okay with waiting for this thing to be done to do it exactly how I want for that. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Anyways, Uncle Mike's car. We just got a few more things to wrap up under the hood. Some cooling things, some wiring things. I did the steering stuff on that last video. Please check that out. And I got to put the brakes back in it. A few minor adjustments there. Then we're going to start road testing this car. So look for a lot of driving videos of that. Big stinky burnouts and things, and hopefully I don't break anything that I have to fix. But and then it's going to be body work on this car. So that's coming up. And then after that, so I'm thinking this is going to take priority because this is a paying job for me. This has to get out this summer. I want this car gone this summer. So wrap this stuff up when I get some time, and then paint and body work on the car here, and it'll be out the door. And then that F100 can come in and we can get hot and heavy on that. But I wanted to start by showing you guys what my plan was. And I really think it's realistic here that we can build a badass truck that's super respectable and we'll get some attention for 10 grand. All right, guys, we're gonna call it a wrap on this video. What I need from you guys is to like, comment, subscribe to the videos, put notifications on, and get involved with this build. I really have some cool things to show you about how you can build a really nice, respectable, honest, good looking street truck for under 10 grand. You don't wanna miss this one, guys. See ya.